What is currently unfolding before our eyes is truly insane. It's utter madness, frankly. We once believed this to be physically unattainable, yet here we stand. Object 3, I divided by Atlas, is the focus of our attention. This is an interstellar entity, and it has undeniably altered its trajectory. And I'm not referring to a mere computational error, all right. We're discussing a staggering 10 distinct anomalies. This entirely defies everything we comprehend about the expected behavior of celestial bodies in space. Now NASA, as you know, they're typically very circumspect folks. They've officially termed it an unexpected orbital adjustment. That's akin to describing a rocket explosion as a rapid, unplanned disassembly. In truth, this represents a truly historic milestone. It's an official, though remarkably understated acknowledgement that this entity, our third visitor from an alien star system, is behaving in a manner that is anything but normal. It is in fact defying the fundamental tenets of ballistics. It simply takes those laws and violates them. But what genuinely astonishes me, what truly blows my mind, is something else entirely. It's how this information surfaced. There were no sensational headlines, no NASA directors making grand pronouncements on stage, just profound silence. The truth was buried within the raw data. If one carefully scrutinizes the raw data, it reveals that the charts were simply updated retroactively, without a word. Within mundane technical PDF files typically detailing dust and ice, the phrase non-gravitational influence abruptly appeared. Unless you were constantly poring over Reddit forums or meticulously monitoring orbital trackers 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you would hardly have noticed its presence. However, for those intimately familiar with the subject, this silence resonates far louder than any outcry. Look, this is a complex puzzle, and it's incumbent upon us to piece it together. Interstellar objects by their very nature do not execute sudden U-turns. Think back to Oumuamua. While it did exhibit peculiar acceleration, we were at least able to rationalize it, devising a hypothesis involving outgassing. Comet Borisov, by contrast, was utterly mundane. Just a typical comet. But Atlas, no, not at all. This is fundamentally different. When all the collected data points are brought together, the emerging picture is deeply unnerving. The alteration in its orbit is unrelated to thermal effects, nor is it due to any proximity to our sun. There's no observable mass expulsion that could account for the observed impulse. Astronomers both from observatories in Hawaii and our colleagues across Europe detected two distinct impulses. Two to be precise. Initially, a gentle nudge, followed by a powerful, undeniable thrust. This is clearly no mere coincidence, nor is it attributable to the sublimation of ice. The spectral signature simply doesn't align. It strongly suggests an external power source akin to propulsion. And furthermore, observations from the James Webb Space Telescope, the JWST, corroborate this. They detected an extremely sharp surge in brightness, lasting for merely a couple of minutes. Materials in their natural state simply do not heat and cool with such instantaneous rapidity. For a mere rock, this is fundamentally impossible. Sensors attempted to reacquire the phenomenon, but then complete silence ensued. The signal simply vanished. Many reputable individuals are currently scrutinizing these findings and pondering, is this truly a natural celestial body? And the fact that NASA reclassified it from passive to, shall we say, non-traditional activity, then subtly buried this information within official documents strongly echoes the narrative of Oumuamua. Except this time we possess significantly more data points. And what's particularly striking is that the object isn't merely accelerating in a linear fashion, it's actively maneuvering, altering its directional vector. Beyond that, there's a multitude of other perplexing observations. We're talking about anomalous rotational patterns, fluctuations in its albedo, and even electromagnetic pulses dubbed interference, by some that correlate with the object's movements with astonishing precision. Listen, as an engineer myself, I approach these matters with a particular mindset. My focus is squarely on the principles of physics. And when you've eliminated the impossible, as the adage goes, we're certainly no longer discussing a mere chunk of radiation-battered ice. Instead, we're observing an entity that actively responds to its external environment. Conventional astrophysical models simply fall short in explaining this phenomenon. And if this is what I suspect, what we all secretly dread uttering aloud, then it fundamentally alters everything. Absolutely everything we thought we knew. Now, for the very first time since the dawn of detecting such interstellar objects, NASA has formally, though indirectly, acknowledged its inability to account for all observed phenomena. This implies that the alteration in trajectories is far from being a mere technical footnote. While fascinating to a select handful of astrophysicists, it represents the very crux of a much deeper problem. Because if an interstellar object possesses the ability to abruptly alter its flight path without any discernible physical cause, then the assertion that we are merely observing a purely natural, inert celestial body begins to utterly collapse before our very eyes. This then brings us to the paramount question, one that nobody within the official space community seems willing to address. The trajectory alteration itself is merely the opening chapter of a much larger narrative. What truly lies behind this modification, and the events that transpired immediately thereafter, mark the genuine critical juncture. We are speaking of a remarkable sequence of occurrences that have transformed Object 3IATLAS into the most intriguing and enigmatic celestial body ever documented within our solar system. And it is precisely these revelations that we intend to meticulously detail in the upcoming segments. We will delve into 10 anomalies so profound that scientists are scrambling to revise entire theoretical models, elucidating why these phenomena can no longer be dismissed as isolated, unrelated occurrences. There are indeed certain questions that the academic scientific community has to this day meticulously shied away from openly discussing. Yet for those who have begun to discern these disquieting indicators, the truth is abundantly clear. There exist extensive studies that extend far beyond the confines of conventional academic discourse. Indeed, a portion of these profound analyses has been compiled into a standalone document, largely unknown to the general public. We will certainly delve deeper into this particular matter towards the conclusion of our narrative. If the sheer alteration of its course alone rattled the scientific community to its very foundations, then the ensuing developments utterly demolished any prevailing explanations. As initial independent reports began to trickle in from amateur astronomers and private observatories alike, the conversation swiftly shifted beyond mere isolated oddities. It pertained to a rapidly escalating, snowballing list of phenomena, utterly irreconcilable with any recognized class of celestial body. This constituted a series of actions that, in the assessment of several bold astronomers, are exclusively replicable in theoretical models of artificial spacecraft, not in the natural world. The initial anomaly is perhaps the most straightforward to grasp, yet arguably the most disquieting among them all. The object's orbital deviation bears no discernible connection to any obvious physical mechanism. There was no evidence of a robust gas emission, no discernible fragmentation or core disintegration, nor any collision with dense clouds of cosmic particulate. Furthermore, there was insufficient proximity to the Sun to induce what is known as an asymmetric ejection of matter via thermal processes. The trajectory simply shifted, yet the underlying rationale for this maneuver remains profoundly obscure. Professor Marco Michelli of the European Space Agency explicitly articulated that this pattern strongly suggests an external impulse, a deliberate push, a phenomenon which in his estimation defies all conventional scientific hypotheses. The second anomaly, intriguingly, manifests itself precisely at the juncture when scientists are attempting to account for the first. This particular anomaly pertains to gravitational acceleration meticulously detected at two distinct chronological points. It bears a passing resemblance to the events surrounding Oumuamua back in 2017. However, unlike Oumuamua, which prior to 2017 displayed only subtle, gradual, and continuous acceleration, Object 3IATLAS exhibits abrupt, almost mechanical impulses. The velocity curve precisely recorded by the Pan-STARRS telescope system is so erratic and jagged that experts were compelled to undertake a complete recalibration of their software. They simply could not trust their own instruments and sought confirmation that this was not merely a gross instrumental malfunction, but conclusively, no error was found. The third anomaly revolves around the object's luminance behavior. Telescopes strategically located in Hawaii, the high deserts of Chile, and the state of Arizona registered enigmatic peaks in brightness. These sudden bursts, lasting only a few minutes, indicated a monumental surge in luminosity ranging from 200 to 400%. According to all established laws of physics, such potent peaks should have been accompanied by the expulsion of vast clouds of gas or rocky debris, which would then reflect light. Yet this was conspicuously absent. As articulated by the eminent astronomer David Jewett, a foremost global authority on geological objects and trans-Neptunian bodies, the entity identified as ATLAS defies the characteristics of either a comet, an asteroid, or any other celestial body currently understood by science. The fourth anomaly involves the manifestation of asymmetric jets, exhibiting no apparent thermal correlation. With typical comets, gas jets consistently emerge from the sunlit side, specifically within thermally active regions. This is entirely consistent with our understanding. Ice melts and subsequently vaporizes. However, with Object 3I divided by ATLAS, these jets appear in frigid, shadowed regions, utterly uncorrelated with the body's rotation. This paints a rather unsettling picture, suggesting the object possesses irregular mechanical vents that unpredictably expel matter to actively adjust its motion. The fifth and sixth anomalies emerge in an inseparable conjunction. These encompass a startling alteration in albedo and a spectral signature entirely unknown to current science. The object's albedo, that is the reflective capacity of Atlas's surface, can drastically fluctuate from one night to the next. For a natural rock, such a phenomenon is considered exceedingly rare, verging on the impossible. And it was precisely during one of these episodes of shifting reflectivity that spectrographs registered an emission band which fails to correspond with any prevalent chemical compound typically observed in comets. This, of course, does not inherently signify something extraterrestrial despite the hasty conjectures of some ufologists. However, the undeniable facts persist. We possess no record whatsoever of such a chemical composition being present in any other celestial body that has been analyzed thus far. The seventh anomaly presents itself as even more perplexing and enigmatic. The object is experiencing mass loss, yet the rate of this attrition is utterly inconsistent with the concurrent increase in its brightness. In practical terms, it appears as though Object 3I divided by ATLAS is emitting something intangible, something that does not reflect light, yet simultaneously influencing its internal structure and mass. The eighth anomaly is characterized by an abrupt alteration in its rotational parameters. In a mere 48 hours, Atlas's rotational period shifted by nearly 20%. Within the realm of physics, such a drastic alteration could only occur under two specific circumstances, either through a powerful impact from another celestial body or via an extraordinarily intense asymmetric mass ejection. Yet neither of these postulated scenarios was actually observed by monitors. The object quite simply began to rotate differently on its own accord. The ninth anomaly is arguably the most subtle and perplexing to rationalize. It concerns electromagnetic microsignals which were independently recorded by 3 distinct observatories situated at various locations across Earth. These are low-intensity impulses with durations of mere milliseconds. The peculiar aspect is their consistent appearance within the identical angular range as Atlas's rotation. Officially, they were promptly categorized as probable interference from terrestrial sources to preempt any public alarm. However, their perfect alignment with the object's rotational axis is simply too precise to dismiss or attribute to mere chance. And this brings us to the 10th anomaly, the most profoundly disquieting of them all. For a span of several days, all this extraordinary behavior simply ceased. There were no surges in brightness, no enigmatic jets, no accelerations whatsoever. A profound, dead silence enveloped it. Then, with the same suddenness, all activity resumed. It appeared as though Object 3I divided by ATLAS had temporarily entered a dormant state, shutting down to conserve energy, or perhaps perform a reboot, only to subsequently reactivate its systems. These 10 distinct anomalies transcend a mere collection of astronomical curiosities fit for textbooks. They boldly challenge the very foundational tenets of our comprehension of interstellar objects. Furthermore, this directly influences public perception regarding scientific breakthroughs. The instant conventional physics ceases to provide immediate and coherent explanations. The collective perception of reality itself undergoes a profound shift. The unknown no longer appears distant and abstract. Instead, it transforms into a vibrant, active component within our very own solar system. And this profound realization completely reimagines the consciousness of anyone engaged with science, technology, geopolitics, or even simply participating in philosophical deliberations concerning life in the universe. If you've made it this far, kindly consider subscribing to our channel and hitting that like button. Investigations of this nature demand laborious, painstaking effort, necessitating immense time to scrutinize sources that typically remain unmentioned in mainstream news. Your invaluable support enables us to persistently produce such content, maintaining this level of detailed exploration and commitment to truth. Yet amidst all the meticulously presented details thus far, a singular point emerged that NASA referenced with such delicacy and brevity, it was nearly entirely overlooked. And crucially, this particular detail, according to independent experts, fundamentally reshapes the entire interpretation of the observed anomalies. The trajectory alteration doesn't merely point to something distant. Rather, it is unequivocally directed towards the inner reaches of our solar system. The very reason for this occurrence, coupled with the insights from the latest high-precision measurements, renders the entire situation far more unsettling. You will quickly comprehend why certain researchers regard this deviation as the most enigmatic event since the visitation of Oumuamua. And what's most disquieting about this entire affair is the distinct possibility that it is far from accidental. Now, having observed 10 distinct anomalies and received NASA's tacit corroboration, it has become abundantly clear that the deviation of Object 3IATLAS is not merely a technical footnote in tedious astronomical reports. This signifies a genuine watershed moment, a symbolic threshold between the cosmos we presume to comprehend and a reality that is now forcefully asserting itself upon us. When an interstellar object breaches our solar system and systematically dismantles one by one the very structures and theories we've long employed to elucidate the cosmos, we are no longer engaged in mere idle scientific curiosity. Instead, we confront the inherent fragility of our most deeply held convictions. To willfully ignore this subject, as many persist in doing by burying their heads in the sand, is not simply to miss out on crucial developments. It signifies a continued naive adherence to the belief that we inhabit a predictable, stable universe, one that unfailingly adheres to the equations we were taught in elementary school. Yet the empirical data gleaned from Atlas presents an entirely different narrative. They unmistakably reveal that the cosmos harbors the unexpected, that subtle forces, as yet unexamined by humanity, possess the capability to influence celestial bodies with sufficient precision to alter entire flight trajectories. And when such occurrences unfold right before our very eyes, an unavoidable question arises. Not merely what was the cause, but rather, what other profound insights are we consistently failing to perceive? This groundbreaking discovery fundamentally reshapes our understanding not just of the cosmos itself, but also of our precise position within it. Following Oumuamua's enigmatic visit, scientific thought had already begun to tentatively flirt with the notion that interstellar objects might convey information about distant galactic regions, essentially serving as cosmic probes. But Object 3I divided by Atlas propels us significantly beyond that concept. Its anomalies are neither random nor chaotic, and they are most certainly not mere instrumental noise emanating from equipment. They constitute a coherent pattern of behavior, one that unequivocally demands a meaningful interpretation. For any serious scientist, this presents a profoundly uncomfortable invitation to explore territories where classical physics has not yet ventured, and perhaps even fears to tread. A few daring individuals, speaking with cautious yet unwavering conviction, assert that we have encountered a phenomenon mandating an entirely novel framework of understanding. This demands an integrated approach drawing upon astrophysics, the burgeoning science of consciousness, and information theory. The compelling notion arises that the universe is not merely an indifferent, inert backdrop dotted with rocks and gas, but rather an intricate dynamic system where remote structures engage in interactions far more coordinated than previously conceived. This particular concept is neither mystical nor supernatural in its essence. It is, in fact, already emerging within advanced research into quantum coherence, the theoretical frameworks of morphogenetic fields, concepts of distributed intelligence, and indeed within the very physics of complex systems. This leads us to the most delicate and nuanced point of our discussion. NASA acknowledges the deviation concedes the presence of inexplicable gravitational acceleration and confirms a complete spectral inconsistency, yet it abruptly halts at the precipice of broader interpretations. The agency is adamantly uninterested in initiating philosophical discourse or engaging in discussions of existential implications. Their mandate is strictly technical. Their objective is to compile numerical data. However, our responsibility as inhabitants of this planet striving to comprehend the true nature of events unfolding above us is to endeavor to grasp the complete panorama. And upon closer, more discerning examination, a stark reality begins to emerge. Atlas's conduct ostensibly poses no immediate physical threat to Earth. It does not portend a collision, nor does it carry an imminent threat of annihilation. The true challenge before us is not fundamentally physical, but rather deeply cognitive. It speaks to our mental capacity to acknowledge the existence of phenomena that entirely transcend the confines of our established worldview. We refer to an intellectual humility, one that permits the acceptance of science as an incessantly evolving process of inquiry, rather than a fixed, immutable user manual. Consequently, prior to unveiling precisely what astronomers have unearthed in the very latest data, I feel compelled to share something with you in complete candor. This ongoing investigation does not conclude at this juncture. It is far from being confined solely to a mere list of anomalies or orbital deviations. Instead, it delves into a profoundly more extensive question, a question that imperceptibly yet profoundly underlies any serious discourse concerning intelligence, the universe, and consciousness itself. The most monumental discovery did not in fact occur within the vast expanse of outer space. This is what they were truly attempting to conceal the identity of their observers. In this vein, I wish to earnestly recommend the e-book, The Creator's Mind. Does the universe truly possess consciousness? Be forewarned, this is not a casual read, and it will certainly not appeal to everyone. It was specifically crafted for those who already intuitively sense that the official narrative of our world is subtly concealing certain truths. The direct link for access can be found in the pinned comment below, or you may simply scan the provided QR code at this very moment. But, as you understand, certain truths once revealed are indeed irreversible. Once apprehended, your perception of the world will be irrevocably transformed. Now, let us redirect our attention to our protagonist, Atlas. Subsequent investigations conclusively demonstrate that its newly adopted trajectory is not merely anomalous, but also remarkably consistent. And what is even more profoundly unsettling is that these anomalies vanish and reappear with astonishing synchronicity, mirroring fluctuations meticulously logged by both the European Space Agency's solar sensors and the radiation beepers monitors at the Arecibo Observatory. This unequivocally suggests an interaction, a direct response. This consistent pattern persists even when Atlas is completely beyond direct visual observation from Earth. The current data does not yet permit us to forge any definitive ironclad conclusions, and it would indeed be irresponsible to even venture to assert anything with absolute certainty. However, these findings undeniably expose a monumental void in our current understanding. A void that, when regarded with true honesty and impartiality, unfailingly leads us to a mental construct that is utterly impossible to disregard. Imagine, if you will, an object that arrived from beyond the confines of our solar system, exhibiting undeniably organized behavior. It meticulously adjusts its trajectory with millimeter-level precision and synchronizes its signals with environmental shifts that, by all accounts, should have no bearing on it whatsoever. And it is at this precise point that the most disquieting question inevitably emerges, not as a mere theoretical exercise, but as a direct, irrefutable logical consequence derived from empirical observations. If Object 3IATLAS is indeed responding to something, then what precisely is eliciting this response? Who or what precisely is the origin of this external signal? At this juncture, our investigation invariably converges with a domain that modern science frequently shies away from addressing, yet one that for millennia has remained the exclusive province of religion and theology. When we observe a celestial body that navigates not by the whims of blind chance or gravity, but seemingly in obedience to some unseen will or program, our minds involuntarily turn to ancient scriptures. For aeons, humanity has gazed heavenward with profound reverence, perceiving in the celestial dances of stars and comets potent omens from higher powers. Ancient Sumerians, Egyptians, and biblical prophets alike all recounted encounters with celestial emissaries, fiery chariots and guiding stars, said to lead nations or illuminate pathways for the wise. Within the framework of religious consciousness, the cosmos was never perceived as an empty void. It was perpetually imbued with profound meaning, vibrant life, and an unmistakable divine presence. For the devout, the universe is not a mere chaotic aggregation of cosmic debris, but rather a grand, exquisitely ordered design. For a considerable period, modern science strived to expunge this notion of design from its equations, reducing everything to the mechanistic interplay of matter. We've become accustomed to viewing comets as nothing more than dirty snowballs propelled solely by inertia. Yet the enigmatic behavior of Object 3I divided by Atlas compels even the most staunch materialists to experience a chilling flicker of doubt. If an object exhibits intelligent or programmatic behavior, does this not provide compelling evidence that the demarcation between the animate and inanimate, between the scientific and the divine, is far more subtle than we previously imagined? Numerous theologians and religious philosophers contend that God, or a higher intelligence, manifests through the very laws of physics, and occasionally through their perceived transgression to stir humanity from its slumber. It is conceivable that anomalies like Atlas's enigmatic behavior are in fact technological marvels heralding a new era. These phenomena serve as a poignant reminder that we are not the omniscient proprietors of this world. Within the sacred texts of diverse faiths, there are frequent allusions to epochs when celestial signs will compel humanity to reflect deeply upon its fundamental essence. The intersection with religious thought here lies not in archaic comet worship, but in the acknowledgement of existence and the concept of universal consciousness as explored within the Creator's mind, which remarkably resonates with notions of panpsychism and God's omnipresence. If every single atom, every particle of matter is indeed permeated by some form of informational component, then the conduct of this interstellar wanderer could very well represent a fragment of an immense, utterly unfathomable dialogue between the Creator and His creation. We have grown accustomed to seeking the divine within the solemn quiet of temples or deep within the recesses of our own hearts. But what if His signature can also be discerned within the spectral data captured by the James Webb Space Telescope? What if the angels of antiquity are but metaphorical descriptors for forces and entities that in our modern era we strive to articulate through the rigorous, albeit often dry, lexicon of quantum physics and astronomy? The acknowledgement that we are utterly incapable of explaining Atlas's behavior is in itself an act of profound humility, a virtue so intrinsically valued across all faiths. The very hubris of reason, which audaciously proclaims its comprehensive understanding, is utterly shattered by a mere rock traversing the void and altering its trajectory with apparent volition. Thus, a profound scientific enigma irrevocably transforms into a spiritual confrontation. It compels us to direct our gaze heavenward, not solely armed with calculators, but also with heartfelt prayer, or at the very least with profound philosophical contemplation. Who are we? From whence did we originate? And are we truly alone within this boundless expanse? Perhaps the elucidation to this query resides not within intricate formulas, but rather within that profound sense of reverence for the mystery that intimately unites the astronomer at the telescope with the monk in his solitary cell. And as Atlas persists on its enigmatic voyage, it stands as a mute testament to the universe's enduring capacity to harbor profound secrets. Secrets capable of irrevocably upending our most fundamental perceptions of God, the world, and indeed ourselves. If you appreciate such rigorous and profound analysis which fearlessly intertwines the realms of science and philosophy, then please do subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and share your insightful reflections in the comments section below. This invaluable engagement sustains our investigative endeavors and broadens the crucial discourse that sooner or later all of humanity will inevitably confront.